Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it fall out just as slowly. There is nowhere you need to go right now, nothing you need to do. You are safe, and this moment is only for rest. Tonight, the city glows softly, not with urgency, not with noise, but with a kind of hushed anticipation, as if even the buildings themselves are holding their breath. Streets shimmer beneath neon reflections, and high above them, an arena pulses with light that feels warm rather than blinding. Inside, thousands of voices settle into a low, excited hum. Backstage, the air is calmer. Rumi stands quietly before a mirror framed with soft bulbs, their glow diffused like candlelight. She rests her hands lightly on the counter, feeling the cool surface beneath her fingertips. Her reflection looks composed, confident, steady, but beneath that calm exterior, she feels something deeper stirring. Not fear, not excitement, awareness. The Honmoon seal hums faintly within her chest, responding to the energy gathering outside. Rumi closes her eyes. She inhales slowly through her nose, holds for just a moment, then exhales through her mouth. You can breathe with her now, in and out. The familiar ritual steadies her. It always does. Behind her, Mira finishes wrapping the final strap of her wrist guard. Her movements are precise, economical, nothing wasted. She rolls her shoulders once, then again, feeling the strength in her body, the grounding certainty of muscle and balance. To Mira, preparation is comfort. The repetition of stretching, of aligning her stance, reminds her that whatever comes, she is ready. Zoey, meanwhile, sits cross-legged on the floor, scrolling idly on her phone, humming a tune that doesn't quite exist yet. She glances up, grinning. "Crowd sounds good tonight," she says lightly. "Good energy." Mira snorts. "You always say that." "Because it's always true," Zoey replies, unfazed. She slips her phone away and rises, bouncing once on her heels. Besides, if something feels off, Rumi would know first. Rumi opens her eyes and meets Zoey's gaze in the mirror. She gives a small smile. Zoey is right. She always knows. The energy tonight is strong, but smooth, like a deep current rather than a storm. Still, beneath it, something old shifts, something listening. Rumi reaches for the mic resting beside her, fingers brushing over its familiar shape. It isn't just a tool, it's an anchor, a promise. Her voice has always been her bridge between worlds, whether she wants it to be or not. A stage manager peeks in, offering a quiet nod. 2 minutes. The hum outside grows softer, expectant. Mira steps closer to Rumi, her presence solid and reassuring. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't need to. Zoey drapes an arm over Rumi's shoulder for just a second, warm and grounding, before pulling back. The trio moves together toward the stage entrance. With each step, the world narrows. The lights dim. The crowd hushes. Rumi pauses just before stepping into the glow. She places one hand over her heart, feeling the steady rhythm there. Not racing, not strained, strong. If you're listening now, let your shoulders relax. Unclench your jaw. Let the weight of the day fall away. You are here. You are safe. The music begins. Not loud, not sharp, but like a slow tide rolling in. Rumi steps onto the stage. Light washes over her, warm and soft, painting the arena in hues of violet and gold. Mira follows, her movements fluid, even in stillness, each step deliberate. Zoey takes her place with an easy confidence, scanning the crowd with a bright, reassuring smile. The first note leaves Rumi's lips. It doesn't rush. It flows. The sound spreads outward, not just through the arena, but beyond it, through streets and windows, through quiet rooms where lights are dimmed and people are settling into bed without knowing why they feel suddenly calmer. The on-moon seal responds instantly. Invisible to all but Rumi, threads of light weave gently through the air, strengthening ancient boundaries, smoothing thin places between worlds. This isn't battle magic. It's maintenance, care. Like humming while mending something fragile. Mira moves with the music, her choreography precise yet unhurried. Each step, each turn traces patterns older than language. To the audience, it's art. To the night itself, it's instruction. Zoe's verse comes in low and rhythmic, her voice steady, grounding. There's comfort in her cadence, a pulse that tells the world everything is held, everything is watched. Somewhere far beneath the city, a shadow stirs, and then stills. Not awakened, not threatened. Simply reminded to remain where it belongs. Back on stage, Rumi's voice lifts gently, never straining. She feels the familiar warmth rise beneath her skin, the quiet presence of her other nature. Tonight, it doesn't frighten her. Tonight, it listens. She guides it carefully, the way one might guide a deep breath. In and out. As the chorus swells, the arena glows brighter, not harsher, just fuller. The crowd sways as one, a sea of calm attention rather than frenzy. Phones lower, eyes soften. For a moment, thousands of people are simply present. And presence is powerful. Rumi glances briefly toward Mira and Zoey. They're steady. They're here. She isn't alone. The song moves forward, unfolding like a slow dream. Each note seals another invisible seam. Each harmony settles another restless edge of the world. If you're listening, allow your breathing to slow now. There is nothing to brace for, nothing to fear. The music will hold you. As the final note of the opening song fades, the crowd erupts, but even the cheers feel distant, softened by the lingering calm left behind. Backstage lights flicker gently as the trio exits between songs. Rumi exhales, long and slow. That felt good, Zoey says quietly. Mira nods once. Clean. Rumi smiles. Not wide, not triumphant. Just peaceful. Yes, she says. It did. Beyond the walls, the city settles deeper into night. Somewhere, a gate that might have weakened holds fast instead. Somewhere, someone turns over in their sleep, unaware they were ever in danger. The applause still echoes faintly through the corridors as the trio moves away from the stage. Not rushed, not alarmed, just attentive. Rumi walks slightly ahead now, her steps quiet against the polished floor. The warmth from the performance still hums through her chest, but beneath it, something new stirs, subtle, like a change in air pressure before rain. The on-moon seal does not strain. It doesn't cry out. It simply tugs, gently, insistently, guiding her awareness elsewhere. She slows. Mira notices immediately. You feel it, Mira says, not a question. Rumi nods once. Small, but real. Zoey exhales softly, rolling her shoulders as if settling into something familiar. Guess the night's not done with us yet. They take a different hallway now, one rarely used. The lights here are dimmer, softer, casting long reflections along the walls. Each step feels like crossing a threshold. Not dramatic, not dangerous, just intentional. If you're listening, allow your breathing to stay slow. Nothing sudden is happening. You are still safe. Outside, the city greets them with cool night air. The sounds of the crowd fade behind closing doors, replaced by distant traffic and the low whisper of wind between buildings. Above, clouds drift lazily across the moon, pale and unhurried. Rumi pauses near the curb, eyes unfocusing slightly as she listens, not with her ears, but with something deeper. There, she murmurs, a few blocks east. They don't run, they walk. The breach waits. The streets grow quieter as they move, lights thinning, footsteps echoing less. An abandoned district rises ahead, warehouses long empty, windows dark, metal fences softened by time. The kind of place the city forgets at night. Here, the air feels thicker. Not heavy, just folded. Rumi stops at the edge of a narrow alley. The almond seal pulses once, softly illuminating faint threads of magenta light that only she can see. They converge at the far end, where shadows gather a little too neatly. Zoey slips a pair of shine coal knives into her hands, their metal catching the moonlight briefly before dimming again. She spins one once, a quiet habit, then stills. Mira steps forward, feet bare against the concrete, posture loose but ready. Her breathing is steady, controlled. On your lead, Mira says. Rumi inhales, in and out. She begins to hum. The sound is barely audible, more vibration than melody, but the alley responds immediately. The shadows ripple, stretching upward as if waking from shallow sleep. A shape forms. Not monstrous, not sharp, but wrong. Edges blurred, presence unanchored. The breach isn't large, it's tired. The shadow drifts forward, uncertain, testing the space between worlds like a hand through mist. Mira moves first. Her steps are smooth, flowing into a turn that traces a glowing arc along the ground. Symbols flare briefly beneath her feet, then fade, guiding the shadow's movement, steering it away from widening. Zoey follows, knives flashing once, twice, not to strike deeply, but to cut threads. Each motion is precise, economical. Where her blades pass, the air clears, tension unraveling like loosened knots. Rumi's hum deepens. Her voice wraps around the space, reinforcing Mira's patterns, sealing Zoe's cuts. The on-moon seal glows warmer now, but steady, responsive to her control. The shadow recoils, not in pain, but in recognition. This place is no longer open. It tries once more to press forward. Mira pivots, executing a slow, grounded sweep that redirects the force downward. The shadow thins, stretched by motion it can no longer sustain. Zoey exhales sharply, stepping in close. One knife pins a flicker of darkness to the concrete, not violently, but firmly, while the other traces a final closing line through the air. Rumi sings one clear note. Not loud, not sharp, complete. The alley stills. The shadow collapses inward, folding like smoke drawn into itself, then vanishes entirely. The air relaxes, pressure releasing in a soft, almost imperceptible sigh. Silence settles. If you're listening, notice how quiet everything feels now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath slow. Rumi lowers her voice, letting the last vibrations fade naturally. The on-moon seal dims, satisfied. Zoey straightens, slipping her knives away with a soft click. Well, she says lightly. That was polite. Mira huffs, a faint breath of amusement. As breaches go. Rumi steps forward, placing her palm where the shadow had lingered. The concrete is cool, solid, whole. Sealed, she says softly. They stand there for a moment longer, ensuring the balance holds. No rush, no triumph, just certainty. Above them, the clouds continue their slow journey. Somewhere nearby, a light turns off in an apartment window. A train passes in the distance, its sound low and soothing. The world continues. Rumi turns back toward the street, feeling the pull ease. The night no longer tugs at her awareness. Let's head back, Zoey says. Encore's coming up. They retrace their steps, leaving the alley as quietly as they entered. By the time they reach the main road, the city's glow feels warmer again, safer. As they walk, Rumi breathes deeply, grounding herself. In and out. She feels steady, supported. The music still waits for her. And if you're listening, know this. The breach has been handled. The night is calm once more. Nothing follows. The arena welcomes them back, like a held breath finally released. Lights rise softly, not blinding, not sharp, just enough to bathe the stage in a familiar glow. The crowd's energy hums low and warm, calmer now, as if the music has already begun its work before the next note is sung. Rumi takes her place at center stage. Something has changed. Not outside, inside. The on-moon seal is steady, but deeper than that, beneath a part of her that listens and leads, another presence shifts. It doesn't push, it doesn't claw. It simply exists, closer to the surface than before, awakened by the earlier breach. Her demon heritage stirs, not violently, not angrily, like embers uncovered after a fire has burned low. Rumi keeps her expression serene as the opening notes of the next song begin. Her voice enters smoothly, perfectly controlled. To the audience, nothing is amiss. To Mira and Zoey, standing close enough to feel the subtle change in the air, something is different, but not dangerous. Yet, as the song unfolds, Rumi feels the pressure build, not from the world, but from herself. The seals respond to her voice as they always do, but tonight they ask for more resonance, more depth. And that depth brushes against the part of her she has spent years containing. A memory flickers. Training rooms lit too brightly, mirrors she avoided for too long, the first time she noticed the markings beneath her skin responding to her emotions. She sings through it. The stage lights dim slightly as the choreography shifts. Mira moves closer, her steps wide and grounded, tracing patterns meant not for combat now, but for containment. Her presence is deliberate, protective without being intrusive. Zoey adjusts instinctively, her verse softening, rhythm anchoring the song's momentum. She watches Rumi from the corner of her eye, expression open, steady, offering reassurance without words. The song ends to applause that rolls like distant thunder. As the lights dip for a brief interlude, Rumi's knees weaken just slightly. Mira is there instantly. Easy, she murmurs, a hand firm at Rumi's elbow. I'm fine, Rumi says. And she means it, mostly. But when they step away from the stage once more, the pull returns. Stronger now. More personal. This one's not out there, Rumi says quietly, as they move into the dim backstage corridor. It's close. Zoe's tone stays light, but her eyes sharpen. Close how? Rumi presses her palm to her sternum. Here. They stop in a small rehearsal room. Empty, quiet, walls padded to absorb sound. The door closes gently behind them, muting the world beyond. The moment the latch clicks, the pressure releases inward. Rumi gasps, not in panic, but in recognition, as faint magenta lines bloom beneath her skin, glowing softly along her arms and neck. The markings don't burn. They warm, pulsing in time with something ancient and familiar. Mira's stance widens, ready for anything, but she does not reach for a weapon. Zoey steps closer instead, voice calm. Talk to us. Rumi swallows. The seal's asking me to lean into it, into that part of me. Her voice trembles, just slightly. I've always kept it separate, controlled. And now? Mira asks. And now it wants harmony, Rumi says. Not distance. The markings brighten, responding to her honesty. For a moment, fear rises. Not sharp, but heavy. The old worry that if she lets go even a little, she won't be able to pull herself back. That she'll become something she can't recognize. Mira places herself squarely in Rumi's line of sight. You're not alone in this, she says, firm and unwavering. You never have been. Zoey nods, resting a hand lightly against Rumi's shoulder. You don't have to fight yourself. That's not how we do things. The words settle. Rumi closes her eyes, not to shut the world out, but to listen more clearly. The demon side of her isn't raging. It isn't demanding control. It's resonating, responding to the same music, the same purpose. Protection, balance, care. She lifts her chin and begins to sing. Not the song from the stage, but something older, softer. A melody she has avoided because it felt too close to truth. The room responds. The padded walls shimmer faintly as energy flows inward instead of out. The on-moon seal aligns, adjusting, not cracking, but expanding, making room rather than enforcing limits. The markings glow brighter, then settle. Mira feels it immediately, the tension easing. Zoey exhales, a quiet laugh of relief escaping her. That's it, Zoey says softly. You've got it. Rumi opens her eyes. The glow fades to a gentle warmth beneath her skin, no longer threatening to spill over. The rift within her doesn't vanish, but it stabilizes, becoming something integrated rather than suppressed. I don't have to erase it, Rumi says, realization dawning. I just have to let it belong. Mira nods once. Exactly. Outside the room, the world remains unchanged. No alarms, no ruptures, just a steady continuation of night. The trio returns to the stage together, footsteps aligned. The final song begins. This time, when Rumi sings, her voice carries a deeper resonance, richer, fuller, effortlessly balanced. The seals respond with ease, gates settling not with force, but with trust. Across the city, people sink deeper into rest. Somewhere, a dream softens. Somewhere else, a shadow chooses stillness over wandering. When the last note fades, dawn is already approaching. Backstage, later, the three stand on a quiet rooftop, watching the sky lighten at the edges. Rumi rests her hands on the railing, feeling solid, whole. For tonight, the balance holds, not because she resisted herself, but because she accepted who she is. And the night, at last, is truly calm. Until next time. Not because it is ending, but because it is finally being allowed to rest. Backstage, the air feels lighter now. No lingering tension, no hidden tugging at the edges of reality. The stage lights dim in a way that feels like a slow exhale, and the crowd's energy settles into a warm, satisfied quiet. People leave with sleepy smiles, their voices low, as if they are still hearing the echoes of the music inside their heads. Rumi, Mira, and Zoey stand together in the quiet of the hallway, listening to the fading sounds of the arena. Rumi's eyes are calm, her breath steady. The almond seal is quiet now, resting, no longer demanding attention. The demon markings beneath her skin are barely visible, just a soft, warm glow that feels like a heartbeat. Mira looks toward the exit, then back at her friends. "That was a good night," she says simply. Zoey nods, stretching her arms above her head as if waking from a long nap. It was more than good. It felt right. Rumi smiles, and for a moment, the weight she has carried feels lighter, not gone, but shared. They walk toward the rooftop, one of their favorite quiet places. It overlooks the city, a wide open view where the skyline blends into the horizon. The night sky is deep, and the first hint of dawn glows faintly, like a promise. On the rooftop, the air is cool and still. A few stars remain, but the sky is changing, softening into a gentle gradient of purple and pale blue. Rumi leans against the railing, looking out. Mira sits down on the ground, legs crossed, and closes her eyes for a moment. Zoey sits beside her, humming the final melody of their song like a lullaby, her voice soft enough to be almost a whisper. The city below them is quiet now. Lights flicker off one by one. Cars move more slowly, as if even they are tired. Somewhere, a dog yawns. Somewhere else, a child turns over in bed, nestling deeper into blankets. The album they performed tonight continues to play in people's ears, softly and seamlessly, as if it has become part of the air itself. It travels through headphones, through open windows, through the night, wrapping the world in its gentle protection. Rumi speaks quietly, her voice barely above the wind. "The seals are holding." Mira opens her eyes. "They're holding because you held them," she says. Zoey looks at Rumi with a soft, sincere smile. "And because we were there, together." Rumi turns to them, the glow in her markings dimming to a peaceful warmth. "I was afraid," she admits, "that I'd lose control, that I'd become something I can't come back from." Mira's expression softens, and she reaches out, placing her hand on Rumi's arm. "You didn't lose control," she says. "You found a way to live with it." Zoey adds, "You didn't have to fight yourself alone." Rumi nods slowly, and for the first time in a long time, she feels a quiet certainty. Not the kind that comes from winning a battle, but the kind that comes from accepting a truth. The wind brushes past them, gentle and cool. It carries the faintest scent of rain, like the promise of a peaceful morning. Rumi looks back toward the city, and speaks as if addressing the world itself. Tonight, the gates are closed. The shadows are still. The world is safe. Mira's voice is low and steady. And we can rest. Zoey nods, leaning her head back slightly to look up at the sky. Yeah, she says. We can rest. They sit there in silence for a while, not needing to fill the space with words. The calm is enough. The peace is enough. Below them, the world continues to drift into sleep. The music plays, and the seals remain strong. The city's breathing slows, as if it has finally found a rhythm. Rumi feels the last of her tension fade away, replaced by a deep, quiet relief. She closes her eyes, and the warmth in her chest spreads outward like a soft glow. Mira rests her hand on the ground, grounding herself, feeling the solidity beneath her. Zoe's humming fades into the quiet, and her eyes begin to soften with sleep. The sky lightens gradually, and the dawn comes without hurry. For a moment, the three of them are simply three friends on a rooftop, watching the world wake up gently after a long night. And you, listening now, are safe too. You have nothing to do but rest. The music has done its work. The seals are holding. The night is calm. Let yourself drift. Let the last sounds of the album fade into the quiet. Let the world settle, and let your body finally relax, knowing that you are protected, you are held, and you are safe. The night is ending, but your rest is only beginning